Live stream review. Shantae, half Genie Hero, as titled, is only half as good as I originally hoped it would be. It's like stepping into an arcade, only to find that half of the good machines are still working. I mean, some things are still working, it's good, but it's still a little disappointing, you know? While I am a fan of Metroidvania series-like games, most of Shantae in this edition felt redundant and poking you in the face like, haha, you have the thing, but not the other thing for the thing. So in half Genie Hero, you unlock dances that allow you to transform into creatures and stuff to aid you in your quest to collect. There's a total of 8 main animals and 4 extra dances for utility, but I will be discussing the main 8 that I have the biggest problems with, as the utilities are actually utilitous, even though that's not a word, but I'm gonna make it sound like a word because that makes me sound smart. Number 1, the Spooderman key. Each of the main series power-ups were copies of one another, not necessarily upgrades either, just copies. For example, the spider and the monkey are both just vertical climbing and abstract horizontal movement abilities. There would have been nothing that would have stopped us from getting a monkey bullet jump that let us jump upwards, especially since the spider's upward has a limited range too. Or alternatively, letting Shantae in spider form shoot string from across the map in any direction. Doesn't make any sense to me. Wumbo 2! Mermaid crabs! The crab and the mermaid are both the aquatic movement abilities, but the crab is for small spaces and the mermaid is for swimming upwards, I guess. In a 3D environment, I could see how this would work a whole lot smoother, but in a platforming game, it just seems arbitrarily restrictive. But you also have to unlock the ability for the crab to snip through seaweed with the crab claw upgrade, despite the crab already having claws. The mermaid power bubble I loved as a power-up, but if you'd given the mermaid a crab claw-like weapon to get through spaces and giving her the bubble, it would not have been weird. It's redundant and quite telling that it was to pan out the gameplay time. Numero the third. Flappyceps. Okay, so the bat and the harpy, well, okay, let me just show you this clip of the bat flying sideways and the harpy flying over the entire gosh dang map. Point proven. Harpy's power-up is that she can also shoot a feather really slowly, and that the bat can see into darkness, but the harpy flies over everything, and the bat uses that ability like one time. There's only actually one time use of the thing, and pretty similar for the harpy. It's just, D. The good guys. The only additions that weren't copies were the mouse and the elephant, but even their uses were, well, limited. Elephant? Well, I see you block, it's time to smash! Mouse? Yeah, giant glowy thing in the floor, go through it. That's it. Even the elephant upgrade of jump stomping was for smooshing flowers for items and maybe gems. There was only one time it was ever used to move the level in a creative way that wasn't secrets, except for the one time in the desert stage, which I admit, you got me, and that was at the very end of the game. As for the mouse, yeah, like 2 obvious times with the glowy floors, that's pretty much its only use. Considering that these are main core pieces of the game and rather the main advertisement of the game, I felt like I was always getting more of the same throughout the run itself. It's not necessarily interesting or fun to deal with. In fact, most of the live stream was actually done offline as I had to spend 1 to 2 hours backtracking to find relevant stuff and realizing that I didn't have the exact power-up needed to go through, even though I'd been clever enough to find it in the first place. The levels didn't change in any format whenever I went back to backtrack, so there was anything that made it feel like I was discovering new. I was just going back and getting the things that I just couldn't get before. It felt like a chore at the end of the game. For example, this bat scene. Look how close I am to getting this treasure chest floating on this house thing, but I can't because the game says, haha, no, you can't get that as the bat, you need the harpy. Listen, in addition, the game also relied on a lot of previous series tropes to carry it through. The hair whipping power-ups like the damage and the speed, okay, cool. The fireballs and the pike balls and the bubble and the cloud, I've done it all before. As a veteran, I was not challenged in the combat department, and anyone else who has played any amount of platforming before likely won't either. The story is also exceptionally weaker than previous installments, just kind of pointing at old nostalgia. Look, it's the Techno Baron! Look, it's the Eye Guy Baron! Look, it's the Octo Baron! Whatever, Squid Baron... Who cares? They were all completely irrelevant to the plot. It's not like a haha cheesy way, like, oh, there they are. Oh, you kidders, they were just there. There's this one scene where Shantae is saved through the power of friendship, but her friends, except for Sky, who's actually really cool, are incompetent dingusberries. This noseless dinkwad didn't even do anything for his special time of the level, and this green-fleshed harpy actually completely misleads us on her quest. And you know what? Well, behold, it's not the end of the world. He's just making some t-shirts, alright? This isn't friendship. This was plorpy. This was big doo-doo friendship. The whole Shantae turning into darkness, I feel like there was something else there, but they just cut it, and that makes me mad. Surprisingly though, as much as I have been bashing on this game thus far, if you are new to the Shantae series, I still highly recommend picking this up. As it is, whoa, voice crack there, as it is perfectly summarized example of the series as a whole. While I do have my gripes about it, the level designs are polished and the animations and style are pretty fun to look at, actually. Shantae is a very expressive woman, and all of her animations show that in any form. The music score is absolutely bombing, and while the combat is repetitive to veterans, it is still engaging enough for those whose first time it might be. As an introductory game, this game does this extremely well and gets rid of the problems that Shantae had in previous series. In fact, it should be viewed positively that I don't have any gripes about the actual gameplay itself, just that it can feel samey at times and padded out due to the nature of Metroidvania games. If you like backtracking, if you like going through games and discovering secrets, if you like being creative and finding different ways to go through the level and thinking like, oh, that's definitely a thing I can do later, and you like marking that stuff down, you know what? You will enjoy this game if you enjoy stuff like that. If you don't, this one should be a pass for you, alright? Hey, thanks for watching this video on Shantae. If you want to come hang out with me personally and the Cosmic Crew, well, check out this Discord over here. You can find me on all sorts of these social media sites that I'm pointing out right now in this scribbly cartoon format. So, there you go. We're gonna review all the games that we do over Livestream that we do to completion, because I feel like that's pretty important to see if other people wanted to get those games. So, yeah, alright. Goodbye.